Hi, I'm Luke. I'm the warehouse manager here at TekMat, and today we're going to be cleaning this Glock 26 on my brake. So let's get to it. So before we start cleaning our gun, we want to make sure that it's been safety checked. We did this off camera, but we'll go ahead and do this on camera again for the viewers at home. First thing you want to do is keep the gun pointed in a safe direction with your finger off the trigger. Then you want to remove the magazine, lock back the slide, and you want to visually and tactically check with your finger to make sure that the gun is clear. This gun is clear, so we're ready to start our cleaning video. So now that we've cleared and checked the gun for safety, let's go over the list of items that we'll need to clean the gun. So we have nylon brush, we have our rod and bore brush, we have our jag for cleaning out afterwards, we have some cotton swabs, so we have some dry patches, we have our cleaner, our lubricant, and our protectant, and then lastly we have our TekMat towel for wiping and cleaning off the gun, and we have our TekMat itself, which protects the work area and has a list of parts in case we get lost during the cleaning. So now we're going to disassemble the gun for the cleaning. So the first step on this particular firearm is to let the slide forward, point it in a safe direction. You do have to squeeze the trigger on this one. From there, you're just going to pull the slide part way back, and there are tabs on either side of the firearm which you pull down on. From there, the slide comes off. You remove the recoil spring and the barrel, and the Glock is disassembled. We're going to go ahead and tackle the barrel first. So we're just going to clean the outside of the barrel, starting with the nylon brush. You're going to take a little bit of your cleaner solution. Go ahead and put a little liberal amount. I usually use 2 to 3 drops. And then you just thoroughly want to clean the outside of the barrel. So the buildup usually is going to fall in the back end here where the feed ramp is, and maybe in the lug nut, locking lugs. Once you've got that all clean, you're going to take your bore brush, put a few drops on the bore brush. You can take your barrel, and from the back end, you go ahead and feed the bore brush up through. Go ahead and do this a few times. And because the rod is able to move freely back and forth, you don't have to worry about bringing it back through from the other end. It will just turn with the rifling in the barrel. Then once you've done that, go ahead and just let it soak while you proceed with your next step. So the next step here is we're going to go ahead and clean the recoil spring assembly. You can use your nylon brush you used for the barrel and just give this good cleaning. Recoil spring honestly doesn't usually get that dirty, so it shouldn't require a lot of effort. Onto the slide. Now on the slide, we're going to reapply some of this cleaner because the slide is one of the dirtier parts on the handgun. Got that reapplied. Now some of the areas you want to focus on the slide itself is the breech face. That gets a lot of carbon buildup. The rails here where it attaches to the lower get quite dirty, so you really want to scrub this. And down here on the breech face is also where the firing pin is. Just all in these areas you want to scrub really, really well, except back in the back area. It's best not to get oils and cleaners in the firing pin assembly. And then we'll go ahead and let that sit and soak. So now for the lower, we're going to go ahead and take the nylon brush and wipe off any excess cleaner that we had on that. A somewhat dry brush is advantageous on cleaning the lower. It doesn't get extremely dirty, and you really don't want a lot of extra fluids and stuff in these moving parts. So if you just kind of give it a nice scrub down or anywhere you see any carbon buildup, and maybe a little extra focus on the slide pins where the slide attaches, and that's about it on the lower. So now that we've let this cleaner soak for a while, we'll go ahead and take the barrel remove the bore brush and attach the jag. I've got some thin patches here. I find that the thin patches are a little bit easier to push through the barrel. You may have noticed that too. So we'll go ahead and stick this on the jag and run this through the barrel. Go ahead and just push it through, remove it. And I usually do this 2, 3, maybe up to 4 times, just until the patch comes out clean. So it's still got some dirt on it. And that's fairly clean, so we'll go ahead and stop there. Some thicker ones I have over here, and just to wipe down the outside of the barrel. In this step, we're just removing all the cleaner. We'll go to the recoil spring next. Just wipe it around the edges, make sure there's no cleaner on it. And then with the slide, same thing. Clean all the cleaner off. And you may need to go over it a couple times until your patches are coming out clean. Just really get in there, get down there on the bore face by the firing pin, get the rails really well. This is one of the dirtier parts that you'll be cleaning. Another tool you can use here for cleaning the slide is these cotton swabs. Works really well for getting down into the slide, into the rails where it attaches, or any of the other tight areas. And just keep continuing with that until the cotton swabs come out clean. And then the same thing with the lower. Just give this a nice wipe down on any areas that might have fluid. And then we'll proceed to our next step. So we also don't want to neglect the magazine. It may not need to be cleaned every time you clean your firearm, but every once in a while it's good to give it a nice rub down. So you can take one of your patches, put a little bit of cleaner on that. 1 or 2 drops should be fine. Just give the magazine a thorough wipe down. This is basically an exterior cleaning on the magazine, just to make sure there isn't any carbon buildup over time. And that looks good. So now that we've finished cleaning the gun, we're going to move on to the lubricant. A gun is just like any other piece of equipment in that it needs lubricant for it to maintain working conditions over time. So wherever you see metal touching metal, you can see any like wear marks like you see on the top of the barrel here. That's where you want to put a drop or 2 of lubricant, and I'll go over that. Our lubricant has a nice dropper, so we could take that dropper, take our barrel. I usually put 2 drops by the locking lug nuts. You can also take a patch and just spread this around on the entire barrel. Then to our slide, we want to make sure you get about 3 drops in each slide rail. This is where it's going to be connecting to the lower. So using this dropper, just carefully putting about 3 drops into the slide. Then anywhere else you see metal on metal contact, go ahead and use one of your patches, and this can also just be used on mostly the entire slide, just avoiding down in the reservoir in the groove where the firing pin is. And then with the lower here, the main thing on this one is the slide tabs. So we could take our dropper and put 1 drop each on each one of the slide tabs where the slide will be attaching. And that's all you need on the lower. And the last piece you want to put some lubricant on is the recoil spring. Probably only needs about 1 drop. Just go ahead and apply a drop here, and then take our patch and just spread it around evenly, making sure there's not too much excess on there. And that's it for the lubricant. Go ahead and put this away over here. The next step is the protectant. The protectant is slightly different from the lubricant. The protectant is mainly for the outer surfaces, any porous surfaces, kind of helps to condition any of the plastic or metal and give it a little bit longer life. So we're going to use our Tech Towel for the Protectant, and we're just going to be liberal here with several drops. We'll just take each of our parts from the gun and just go ahead and condition the exterior surfaces on it. So we have our Glock 26 magazine, we have our recoil spring assembly. This protectant's good for the plastics and the metals, so you want to make sure you really get in there and get it wiped down. There's our barrel. Give the slide a nice wipe down. And lastly, the lower. And if you have any excess lubricant on here, this will take care of that. And so now the gun's been applied with the Protectant. So now that we've finished with the cleaning, the lubricating, and the Protectant, we're ready to go ahead and reassemble the firearm. On the reassembly, you start with the slide. Take your barrel and face the lug nut upwards. The barrel will just click right into place when you have it where it's supposed to be. Take your recoil spring and depress that until you're able to get it onto the second notch in here. And the slide is ready to assemble to the lower. Then you take your frame rails, just line the slide up with the frame rails, just pull straight back and let it go. And the gun is now assembled. So that's been our gun cleaning video for today. Thanks for joining us. If you guys have some suggestions on how you would do it differently, please go ahead and comment below. And if you'd like to pick up one of our TekMats, feel free to visit our website at tekmat.com. Thank you.